Good morning. Hi. Sorry, I had to wait a minute. There's fox pups who are have come back to my house this year, and the mom drops them off every once in a while. And one of them was just on my deck, so I had to wait a little extra longer before until she like got off. I didn't want to scare her. So I was like, I have to wait.
We
Yeah,
saw fox kits, what was it, a week and a half ago? I was out on a little birding trip and they were in a burrow just off to the side of the path. So we had fun time watching them play. They just seemed
how
totally unconcerned with us.
that's awesome. How big were they when you saw them?
Little,
Yeah.
I know, big enough to be playing and, kind of play fighting and everything, but yeah, they were pretty small.
Yeah. This one was, I mean, she's actually the smallest of the group. So I think, and she's like that, her tail is like longer, but like she's like probably like that big, like small dog size now. They're
Yeah,
like,
they were a little smaller than that, maybe.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
they were so cute.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yay. Oh, good. Morning, Cindy. Morning, Tracy. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I didn't send the, you guys didn't get an email, right? And someone might have just gotten like a second ago. I just realized I don't think I had reset the reminder after my trip. And so I just saw this morning and I was like, oh, I better send that right now so people remember. So folks might be a minute or so behind in getting here. But anyway, it's great to see everybody. And yeah, today I have something in mind, something I've been practicing when I've been out birding, because I've been out a lot in the last couple of weeks and really focused this year on seeing some new species that I haven't seen. Like I've lived here for about 5 years now, um, and I've seen all sort of like the expected species, but there's a lot that I haven't, and so it's pushing me to try out new habitats and whatnot, and just experience other birds and learn more about them and where to expect them and whatnot. So but in order to do that, sometimes I have to get really focused, and I know it's really easy to get disappointed, or like frustrated if I don't see what I want to see, or I think I might have missed it. And I don't like having that energy when I'm in the forest or wherever I am, and especially when I'm watching birds, because the whole real reason is because I love them, right? And so I made a commitment to myself to just have fun and to bring joy with what I'm doing, and also to have the patience and centeredness and calmness that I love to come to birding with. And so sometimes I have to remind myself of that, but whenever I do, I feel like really magic things happen. And so I wanted to bring a part of that to us this morning. Let me just see if I did hit record. Okay. And so yeah, so why don't we start? We'll just let me actually, is there anything I want to say to people if they come in late? No, that's okay, because I'll probably stop a couple times. So yeah, just you're in your comfy spot. Looks like Cindy and Claudia, you both are outside. Yeah, that's awesome. And Tracy, you're on a deck, right? Yeah. So everyone's more or less outside. The weather's nice enough. I think that most of us can be. So yeah, so just go ahead and let yourself get settled and comfortable, and whatever other animals want to join us during our sit. I think the fox pup is coming back. Then they'll join us. So all right, just let yourself feel your own body right now. Notice like the inside internally and externally what you're experienced right now, and try to do your best just to do it like as an observation, like you're just sort of scanning your body without any judgment. So just noticing like what your body feels like right now and what your body is experiencing. And shortly I will mute myself. I don't know if you guys can hear the kids just got let out for recess at the local school, so you might hear some screaming in the background, as our children are known to do when they get freed. So yeah, just feel your body right now and notice if there's any part of you, any area that feels really receptive and welcoming, really gentle, and just I guess easy. Is there a part of you that feels at ease? And just try to find that place within you. And then you can locate a part of your body that might feel more tension and some dis-ease, or like you're not in ease in your body in some place. And again, without any judgment about that. But see if you can make friends with the part of you that feels ease and the part of you that maybe feels tension or not ease. And see what it would be like to invite that part of you that's feeling not so, maybe a little grouchy this morning, to just allow some of the ease to come on in. And what would that look like? Would it involve a deeper breath? Maybe some releasing, some relaxing, maybe a little bit of letting go. And now noticing your connection with the earth all around you. So whether it's the trees in the sky above or the earth herself right below your feet. Let yourself feel that connection. Even despite some of the busyness that might be happening around you, there's a lovely rhythm from the earth. She's got her own pace and her own flow. See if you can tap into that this morning. Now allowing your ears to stretch all the way across the landscape, as if you're just like a kind hand brushing on someone's back. You can imagine your ears are just feeling the landscape and picking up all the sounds from both near to far. And again, try to do so also without any judgment of what those sounds might mean. You just allow them to be, whether they're human-made or whether they're of nature. See if you can find one sound that piques your curiosity. And just stay with that one for a moment. Noticing if it might have any particular shape or texture, if it evokes a feeling in you. And try and connect with what it's communicating right now. And while you're still allowing this sound to be a part of your experience, also go ahead and take a nice deep breath in, smelling the air around you, noticing how it's changed in the last few weeks and what's new about the air today. And as you're taking that deep breath in, really go ahead and let it all out. Just let your belly just release it all. And then you can take it back in. Not what you've released, but some new fresh air. Take that in, into your body. Still receiving the sounds that are all around you. And that one in particular that's still present. Noticing you're just allowing your breath to rise and fall and receive and let go. Now you can just release that sound, just keep receiving the new ones that might come in. And now go ahead and send your vision, your eyes onto the landscape. And just stretching, see how far you can see. Allow them to focus and then soften, taking in all that's around you in as wide of an expanse as possible. And really, really allow your eyes to soften. This is by far one of the superpowers in finding warblers, is really truly beginning to allow your eyes to just get very fuzzy and soften, so you can start to perceive the really subtle movements that are coming from up in the leaves and the trees. And just noticing what happens to your own body as your eyes soften and your breath softens, still bringing that invitation of ease to those parts of your body that might have been holding on to something that you might not have wanted to hold on to anymore. Just letting that go. And so, as I was saying earlier, when I'm really excited to find a new bird, I've done all my homework. I know what habitat it's supposed to be in. I've heard that it might be in the area, has been in the past. Then one thing that I do after doing a grounding exercise similar to this, I've taken myself through a sense meditation just briefly once I've gotten out of my car, and just set my intention for the day of knowing who I'm looking for and what I'd like to find. Then when I'm walking out on the landscape and meeting the new birds that are showing up and listening to all the sounds that are in the forest or wherever landscape I'm in, one question I ask myself is, and it's more like I ask the question of the universe, however you might want to define that, but the question that I ask is, who else might I see? Who else might show up? And I have to say, whenever I do that, some of the most magical experiences happen. And so today, as we're sitting, we're going to do this with our different senses. So first, we'll start with our eyes and what we see. And so as you're sitting there, just allow your eyes to pick up on whatever inspires you. If there's a bird you happen to see flitting about or feeding or whatever it's doing, you can follow that with your eyes and your attention. And then after you've gotten to know that bird a little bit, just ask that question of yourself. Who else might I see? Who else might I see right now? Who else wants to show up? And then just see if anything happens. Just notice where your attention might be drawn. Just allow yourself to be like a child. So today is a practice of childlikeness, not childishness, but childlikeness. So just being playful and really just trusting your body to guide you toward the direction or the sound. But first we'll focus on vision. So we'll just sit here for the next couple of minutes, just allowing our eyes to perceive what they will and following that question wherever it might guide you. So, one of the tricks of this is being willing to really let go of any expectations. So, even though I have a hope that I'm going to see a particular bird when I go out to the places I go out to, I do my best to let go of the expectation that it's supposed to happen. And so, as we're playing this game today, this meditation game, and asking that question, who else might I see? Just let go of any expectation that anything's supposed to happen. We're just playing. And we'll stay focused on our eyes for another few moments. Good work. And so you don't have to let go of your focus on your eyes, but we're going to invite the sounds in now. And so now, using our ears, we're going to let ourselves follow with curiosity the birds that we're hearing, the sounds that we're hearing. And this time asking the question, who else might I hear right now?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Now we'll take it one level deeper. And seems like there's probably a lot to see and hear today. And so you can opt to keep your eyes open if you want to, or you can close them. You can check in with yourself and just ask the question, who else might I feel today? So from more of an intuitive sense, who else might I feel? So might I feel a connection with, or feel drawn to, feel the presence of? And so you can keep using your eyes and your ears and keep asking the questions of those senses, but also layer onto it that other one, the last one, of who else might I feel right now? Remember just to allow yourself to, if you're for some reason being called to look in a particular direction or smell or whatever it might be, just remember that sense of childlikeness, just to follow that intuition to look in a particular way or listen in a particular way. Let yourself just play. Okay, so you can bring yourself gently back to this moment, even though you are already here in this moment. Just, just experience with us and take the next few moments and whatever it is that you connected with during this time, just offer that, whatever that may be, your own sense of gratitude and thankfulness for interacting with you. There's a lot of raptors behind me right now. There's two red-shouldered hawks and a turkey vulture. There's a crow just a moment ago. They're all calling. So, yeah, I'd love to hear. Curious if anyone has any experience they want to share. And don't forget, it doesn't have to seem gigantic or big or, like that you had I don't know, like an ostrich walk across your path or anything like that. It just be whatever in the smallest of ways could still be a magical experience. So whatever feels inspiring for you to share. If there's some part of this morning's exercise that you'd like to share. Yeah, go for it, Tracy.
Good morning. It's good to see you all. So when I started this morning, I was kind of in a grungy, that's a new word, grouchy mood. I haven't been feeling well this week. Haven't been feeling well this week, and this morning's just been a little rough. So pretty much as soon as we started, one of the first things I was like, ugh, I'm grumpy. There's a background drone of road work going on like throughout this whole morning. I haven't really noticed this type of sound before. So at first I was only focused on this, but when the white-winged doves around here do their mating and their kind of aggressive call, they sound like dinosaurs, and so I call them dino doves, and his grumpy voice sounded so much like me this morning that it was hard not to giggle. Like he was just like, rawr, rawr. Like, I understand. That's exactly how I feel. But then the baby house just started going in, and they are just like chitter, chitter, chitter. And the baby sparrows sound like they're saying me, 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 me. And they're hopping around the yard, and they are just so happy and so wee. And so it was, I couldn't hold on to the bad mood and I'm so stressed and I don't feel well, because there's just so much joy and happiness and activity going around. And so I really appreciate the kind of childlike wonder of it, because I did go birding up at Santa Rita Lodge this weekend to go. Everybody wanted to go try to see the elegant trogon, which was neat. We didn't see him. That's okay. We saw so many others, but it was so focused, and I didn't have a great time because it was just so much like, okay, we have to check this off the list and check this off the list, and that's not how I bird. I just want to sit and enjoy and be excited and grateful for everybody that showed up. And it was like I was one of many, and that wasn't kind of the vibe of birding happening. So I was kind of disappointed when I left, because it really just felt like everybody have the list and check them off, instead of just being really grateful for everybody that showed up, and just this sense of wonder. So I was really glad to get back to this today, and just, I see all these guys every day, but they all had something to say today, and they all just wanted to, be part of the experience. And so thank you, because it was really good for my soul to kind of get back into just this appreciating everybody that shows up and being glad for what they have to say. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Tracy. And I think what's been so profound for me is that quite often I will see the birds I want to see, you know, and especially when I start asking those questions. Um, and so my sort of intention this spring is to try to find a way to balance those two, to balance like that desire to see the one you want to see, you know, with just let someone in, the desire to see the one you really want to see with this like you know connective way of being in nature. And so like how can we still have that desire, you know, and that intention, but not let it cloud our overarching experience and our connection with the birds, you know? And so I think by bringing this playfulness and gentleness into it, it helps me to do both, where it's like I don't have to give up on seeing the bird I really want to see. I still can see it, you know, I still can have that goal, but I can do it in a way that it seems counterproductive and counterintuitive to maybe go a little slower, or um, you know, just be a little bit more curious and not so anxious. You know, it's like, you know, the bird's really close, you can hear it, like, gotta see, and just like let go of all that, like, and that maybe it actually might feel somehow like wanting to come closer to us if we're not so like, you know, all
Everything
bunched
is
up,
not so
like,
anxious about it. Like
yeah,
that's the vibe. They can feel that. And like there's this whole row of people just tense and with binoculars and phone
yeah,
checklist. And I was like, I left and I was so kind of bummed because it was beautiful to see. I saw an Arizona woodpecker and a pygmy owl, and it was amazing. But like everyone is just so like dedicated. It was like I just wanted to sit and be, and there wasn't really anywhere to just sit and be with the birds.
yeah.
It's still just a beautiful experience, but yeah, just less of the tension of it, because they can feel that too. And like I'm grateful for everyone that showed up, you know, mourning dove and white winged dove, good to see you too, guys. Like,
Yeah.
you know, everybody that wants to show and be part of it. I was ecstatic to see everybody, but I was definitely in the minority on that one.
I know, and it's not easy to be the like the only one or a different one, and yeah, so
Yeah.
great. Well, I hope you can carry
Thank
this with
you.
you. Yeah,
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 this
for
was
sure.
awesome. Thank you. Yeah, everybody had lots to say this morning.
Good, good, awesome. How about you, Claudia or Cindy? Just curious if, and
Oh,
Cindy,
yeah.
just in case it matters, like I can't see you right now, it's totally fine, but in case you're raising your hand, yeah, go for it, Claudia.
Yeah, we had the Great Salt Lake Bird Festival here in Utah last week and over the weekend, and I got to participate in several different field trips and activities. It was just so wonderful, and I was thinking about, you know, what do I go for? And I feel like I'm just going for the ambiance, the atmosphere, even if I don't see the birds I want. And so, you know, this just, you know, it's the same kind of thought process. And I find I'm happiest when I do that. The first field trip I went on, we saw 70 something different kinds of birds. And actually, when they went I did the daytime one, and it's just here, not too far from me, you know, that we went on that one. And I saw so many birds I'd never recognized before. And anyway, it was just fabulous. Um, and then I went on one, it was focused on kestrels. And, you know, we saw our kestrels and we were with the naturalists. So we ended up being able to get kind of up close with a kestrel. but and but we saw other birds too, and we saw bobolinks, which is unusual around here to get to see, and it was just wonderful. But there were just so many things. And I did one where we went up to see the sage steppe birds, and um that seemed to be, it almost felt like it was going to be disappointing, but again, I just thought, I'm just here to feel. I just love even just standing out in the middle of the sagebrush and looking around. And then the birds did come. We did see some wonderful birds. So yeah, I just love this idea of just being there. And when I go on the birding trips, you know, sometimes you are in a hurry because you've got to go to this spot and this spot, you know, you see the
Yeah,
bird and then you move on to the next one. Um, but I figure that sometimes when I'm birding, I can go back and I want to just take a lawn chair with me
yeah,
and
yeah,
do
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
sometimes, you know, you go with the expert so that you can kind of find out where to
Yes,
look, and then
yes.
you go back later to just relax and observe.
Yeah. I think it's true. And it's again, like I'm saying, like there's gotta be a way, I think, to like blend both, where you can have that focus and the desire and then but bring an intention, bring sort of like a connection to how that's approached, and then if that, and it's not like to force anyone to do something, our way or your way or whatever it is, but like you're saying, like maybe they're just people are just gonna be the way people are and bird the way they bird, and then you, like you said, you can go back later, and I love that. That's a
Yeah, and
beautiful.
I guess, I'm not a serious birder. I don't feel like
Yeah.
I have to worry about lists or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
like that, and I do keep, kind of a list,
Uh-huh.
but I just love being there. Just love the
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, like that's enough. That's awesome, Claudia. Thank you. Sweet. Cindy, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Well, it's a little windy. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Um, Everything you're saying is what I've been struggling with in the past few years. First I wanted to become a birder and I worked many years at that. And then it's been, what kind of birder do I want to be? Because I also have been dissatisfied with listing. Um, so yeah, everything you guys are talking about is speaking right to what I'm doing and the joy. I want the joy of observing. Yesterday I walked around a wetland, and what I used to do is, see how long of a list I could get as I walk around, eBird, and look at the number. And this time, at the end, I noticed holes in a bank. So I watched the holes, and it turned out to be a bank swallow colony. And I watched the colony. I was by myself. And in the middle was about a 4 inch in diameter, a bigger hole. And as
Huh.
it turned out, belted kingfishers were taking turns going into that hole, like they would exchange every 5 to 10 minutes. So I mean, I probably spent an hour there. And that was pure joy for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
That's
So I
so
really
beautiful.
appreciate your platform. I've appreciated it through the years. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Cindy. And I think like, you know, there's all sorts of ways. I know my friends, some of you who've done some of my classes before got to meet Dan Gardoki, or maybe you knew him beforehand. He's one of the co-facilitators in the Birdsong course. And, Dan's always inspiring me in different ways. And Dan, every other year, he does sort of like a county big year for himself. Like he tries to get as many birds as he can on his county list. And Dan is one of the most deeply connected, nature connected kind of people that I know. And I used to be really sort of, I was never inspired by that, But last year he told me that he said, Kristi, what it does for me is it gets me into different habitats. It gets me learning about other birds I wouldn't normally learn about. It pushes me in ways like by having this goal of like, I want to get as many as I can. And I thought that's a cool way to look at it, because I've sort of always been opposed in my own self to like the listing idea, because I think it separates people more from that connection with nature. And so, but I thought, oh, that's interesting. There's this other way of like having the list, the goal of the as many birds as you can, but with a different intentions, for that to like learn as much as you can. That's what the goal is about. And so I've started that this year for myself, like kind of, I guess like a month ago, I kind of started just to play with that idea. And I noticed that at first I was like really grouchy out there. I was like, oh, I missed it. And that's like the one time I could see the bird and I'm not going to, whatever. And I was like, this sucks. Like, I don't want to be this kind of person when I'm out there. And so that's when it really started to change for me. I was like, okay, how can I do this and still sort of bring my approach, like my way of birding and the way I love to be in nature and that deep connection that can exist, where you can really have this incredible relationship and sense of belonging with the world. And so that's what I've been just playing with this, of this idea that like, hey, maybe we still can see those rare birds or whatever it is, those birds we're desiring to see, and still have a deep connection. And I think so it's surprising and maybe sort of unheard of for some folks in the birding world to think that like, you you could still see your bird and maybe not have to race around doing it, or maybe just stay in one place and do it. That there's sort of other ways to find the birds, you know, and yes, I'm just playing with it. It doesn't always work, but quite often, like I just this idea came to me over the weekend, or I don't even know what day where we are right now with days, but um, I think that was but the I was out there this weekend and I looked up at one point and I was just it was just so beautiful. I was so happy with what I was seeing and but I just was seeing like the common birds, you know, and then I decided to I just there's a crow behind me. And so I decided to just look up and I was like, huh, I wonder who else I might see. Just again from that pure like childlikeness place of just like, I wonder, you know? And then like a moment later, this beautiful little, who is it this time? One time it was the Canada warbler, which is like not that common for me around here. And then another time it was the maybe Blackburnian. I can't remember, but it was a beautiful warbler, and I just didn't expect to see it where it was. And I thought, that's a fun question to keep asking. You know, I think I'm going to keep playing with this one. And you know, so anyway, it is something I've been playing with. And I, you know, Tracy, when I was at that festival with you in Arizona last year, I went out with a group one day and I forget who it was, but it was a bird that like everybody really wanted to see. Like the good birders like were out there and they like really wanted to see this bird. And we heard it was in this like, well, we were waiting for like an hour or more to see it, and someone's like got a report that like, oh my god, over in the forest over there is where this bird is. And so like a group of like 20 people kind of like rushed the forest, and we got in there, and we were at a park somewhere, I believe. And we get in there and someone's like, it's right over there, it's right over there, okay, da, da. You know, and all these people were like, "Oof." And I could feel this energy just like pressuring the shrub. There's like a row of shrubs. Like everyone was just sort of like, huh. And they're like, I can't see it anymore. It's gone. I can't see it. And I was like, I know where that bird is. That bird is on the other side, trying to get as far away from these people as it possibly can. So I just quietly like left the group and I walked around the trail and I walked on the other side of the, apologies for the plane overhead, and walked on the other side of the group. And I just waited for a minute and there it was. It just showed right up because it was just terrified of all the people. And so there was a couple people that I had been with and I was like, you guys, come here. And so they quietly like came over and looked and and the bird was just sort of like had this like look on its face like, get me out of here, you know? But I think also like that approach can sometimes push the bird that we're wanting to see away from us, because it is like we're this group of predators and we have this energy that's just like, ah, you know, like I gotta get you. And it's like, no, I don't want you to get me. Like that's terrifying. So it's not to make anyone wrong. I think it's like a level of awareness and just maybe a slightly a different approach, you know, that's worth just playing with. Yeah. Tracy, you were gonna say something.
I like what Claudia said about going back to spots. This was the first year that I helped Tucson Audubon with the spring bird count, which was really cool because that way I can learn more about birds. And then I have now a new list of all of these spots to go back and check that I wasn't aware of. So I went to one of the parks by myself and I just strolled around the lakes, and I inadvertently, because I wasn't looking for anyone, I was just, you know, taking pictures and exploring this new place to me. I found a snow goose that was on the eBird Life rare bird alert, and that's the first time I've ever got one, and I got a picture and I was like, but I didn't go with any intent. I just kind of went to wander. And, you know, when I took photos of him, I wasn't even like, oh yeah, I gotcha. It wasn't until I went back later and I was looking at the rare bird list for this week and I was like, wait a minute, I was there too. So it's, you know, I still have some other places to go back and check. So, you know, with doing the list, I was excited to be able to help and to learn and like, oh, I don't know this park. Oh, I don't know who hangs out here. But, you know, able to kind of do the list, but also in my own way. So now I can go back and now, yeah, it was super cool though to get one that was on the list. Like I know they're common elsewhere, but I was like, wait a minute, who are you? And not even to realize like how special it was for folks on this list until later on in the week. So it's been pretty magical. Are you doing the festival again this year before I forget?
Likely not.
No, shoot.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see you at another one.
Oh, you mean the Arizona
Tucson one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't heard from them, so I don't think so. I don't even know where we are, and it's May, so probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Yeah.
see you at other ones then. But yeah, so
Yeah.
this has been
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Good. Well, thanks everyone for coming today and just like, sort of a slightly different conversation that we had. And I just thought I would share this new thing that I've been playing with because sometimes it's fun to share those ideas. And yeah, thanks for playing with it today. Cool.
Yes, thank
Well,
you so much, Kristi. That was really good.
oh, thanks, Claudia. Thank you. That's awesome. And Bonnie Lynn, hi. I saw that you popped in a little bit later, so good to have you here as well. And I think that for the next couple weeks we're good to go. I can't foresee anything. Don't have any trips or anything like that at the moment planned, but I'll always let you know if I do. So we're good to go. We're back on again for Monday mornings. All right,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Have a good
Yeah.
week,
Have a
everyone.
beautiful week. All right. See you all.
Thank you.
Okay.